I'm Julie Phillips, and I'm here today with Daniela Zoppe. I am so excited. Daniela is one of our top agents at Keller Williams Smart One in Winter Haven, Florida. And Daniela, I have some questions for you today to get to know you a little bit better and hear about your success. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So, how long have you been in real estate, and what was your first year like?
Okay, that's a loaded question. So my first year, well, this is my third year in real estate. I would say that's kind of, for me, it's taken about this amount of time to get really into my comfort zone. So year one, I think is crazy for most people starting out in real estate. Because you study, you do your whole exam, and you think, yeah, this is great, I'm gonna kill it, I'm gonna do this, that, and you realize you know nothing. And that's a good thing, because we have the support here to teach us and encourage us and empower us. But I think my first year I was kind of just unclear as to what I needed to do first. So I think the very first step for me was to define how did I want my business to look? What was important for me as far as legacy, as far as how I wanted my customer experience to be. And it took me several months to kind of get clarity around that. Mm-hmm. Once that was clearer, and I think nobody knows that right out the gate, then it was easier to implement. So the first year, I think, there was a lot of exploring and getting to figure out what it was that I wanted, and then learning how to do it. That was the biggest challenge, learning how to do it.
Beautiful. I love that. So tell me, what's your big why, and how does it propel you in real estate?
My big why. So I have several big whys, but I think if we're going to stick to one in particular, I would have to say it's my daughter, Zariana, which I know for most moms, it is your child, right? So for me, my big why is showing her that parents can do multiple things, especially women. We wear many different caps throughout our life, and it's important to have that work-life balance. And for me, my big why is to show her that I want to leave her a legacy, and the legacy is that you're strong, you can be independent, you can still be kind and loving and nurturing and give back. And for that reason, that's why I bring her along when we have a lot of our culture events. We have our Red Day events and things that we do in our office as our KW culture, because I want her to be a part of that. I want her to see how important it is to be bigger than yourself and to give and to be part of a supportive, encouraging environment. So I would say that's my big why, is leading by example for her.
I love that. Every kid should have a mom like you.
We all just try. We don't know. We try.
You do an amazing job.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I see that on a regular basis.
Thank you.
So appreciate that. So what advice would you give to someone looking to crush it in real estate? You have had an amazing early career, and I think you have some things to share.
Well, I don't know about crushing it, but thank you. I think for me, there was a little level of tug of war, I think is the right word, when I first started, because a part of me wanted to really be moral and didn't want to be salesy or pitchy in any way. So I had to find out what that meant. And I think for me, it was just coming to a place where everything I did was from contribution and from genuinely caring about my client, my customer, their experience, and not being tied to the result of whatever the outcome is the outcome, and not having an agenda to it. So I think that was important for me. So I think anybody coming into real estate has to find their why. They have to find their what's important to them. So for me to say this was what worked for me, well, it's individual to me. And I think it's important that you're true and honest to yourself in whatever your business model looks like and in whatever it looks like for you as a human. So I think you have to find that purpose and then find how to apply that purpose to your business, because then it's genuine and it's not it's not fake, and people will know when something is genuine and it's coming from the heart versus just like a script. I struggle with scripts. I do. They're great, but I struggle.
Yeah. Well, coming from authenticity, right? Being a genuine version of yourself is
it's important, because I feel that transparency, you know, it'll always come out. My grandmother used to say, she has all these funny sayings, but she used to say, it all comes out in the wash. Meaning like you can kind of fake it for a while, but at the end, who you are is who you are, and what you do is what you do. And so that's kind of one of those little mottos that I stick by. It's like, it is what it is. It comes out in the wash. Whether it's good or bad, it just is.
I love that. Yeah. Wise grandma.
She is. Yeah. Was. I should say was. Yeah, she's wonderful. I've been very blessed to have strong women in my life who've been empowering. And again, that's my message, is just to, you know, anybody that's out there maybe right now who's sitting here watching this and not really sure, can I do it? Should I do it? You know, I don't know if I can do it. I would just say, stop that. Just do it, you know, because once it's kind of like a treadmill, you know, getting on and taking that first step is the hardest. And then once you start, everything falls into place. And especially when you're with a company like Keller Williams, who has that support built in, who has the wheels in motion, all you have to do is decide to jump on and start going with the flow. It's not as hard. Yes, it's hard. You have to do the work. But you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Yeah, absolutely. I got that. Systems, tools, and models help a lot. Yes. Yeah. So if you can dive into that and you can get comfortable with that, then it's there. We just have to make the choice to tap into it, to use it, to adapt it to our business.
Yeah. That's perfect. So Keller Williams has a coaching mindset class called Bold, and there are some amazing bold laws that we have. So what's your favorite bold law?
So there's so many.
Yeah. It's hard to choose one.
Yeah, I think for me, the one that has most resonated was no pressure, no diamonds, right? And so for me, this is a very difficult business. It's a very emotional business. You know, it's a roller coaster ride, really. So one day everything is put together so nicely and you think it's a magical moment, and then you get a phone call or an email and everything kind of derails. But back to the bold law, no pressure, no diamonds, is if we don't have that pressure, we don't have that intensity, then we don't get the joy of the diamond, right? Because you kind of have to have that yin-yang balance. But for some reason, it was actually our team leader, Chad Lindsay, who had said that to me one day when I had called, I think I was in my first year, and I had called about something. I don't remember what it was. And it was a conversation about pressure, like, oh my gosh, this is a lot. And just as he was hanging up, he said, no pressure, you know, no diamonds. And I went, oh, okay. And then it just hit me. And I thought, yeah. And all things, right? Whether it's whatever your
relationships,
anything, no pressure, no diamonds. Yeah. So when I'm in those moments where, you know, 50 things are put together and they're falling apart, that little saying sticks in my head. So we have a lot of great sayings.
Yeah.
Bold is a wonderful program. It's something that really helped propel me forward. When Bold was offered, it was when I joined, it was during COVID. And so we did a virtual version. So, and I haven't actually done a live version, which I've signed up to do this year. So I'm very
super excited, starting next month.
Yes. And scared. Excited and scared. But I think even just having that virtual version was so fantastic, because it really kept us accountable and just kept us checking in as a group, especially during COVID, when it was such an isolated time, when you felt so disconnected from the world. Having that opportunity to sign in and be a part of something bigger was really nice. I think that this year will be more exciting and maybe a little bit more scary, but I'm ready for it.
That's awesome. I love it. I am very excited about it as well. So, you're not working all the time, hopefully. So what's your favorite activity when you're not working?
Favorite activity? We love I should say, to go for runs. There's so much clarity for me. You know, I run marathons, do a lot of charity runs, things like that. My husband and I did some events for Children's Cancer Society. It's something that's special to us. But Leukemia Foundation, things like that. So I love to do charity runs. Of course, because of COVID, it hasn't been, as active as it normally is, but I'm looking forward to getting back into that again and being a part of that energy, because it truly is about energy. So wherever you are in your circle, it either is going to empower you or disempower you, right? So for that reason, I love Keller Williams, because you may come into the office and have a day that may not be as comfortable, or you may be challenged by something, but by coming in, talking to people in the office, being immersed in our culture, being a part of our everyday conversation, right? It's truly about growth. It's about empowering each other, helping each other to be better. Not just be better in our businesses, but be better humans, be better at interacting with others, because we're all doing something different in our lives. We all come from different backgrounds. But having that support and mindset is important to me. And so running is just another version of that, because it's that mind of empowerment, growth, well-being, for the physical side. But then it's important to take care of that on the mental side, and especially with the pressures of our real estate market.
Yeah, absolutely.
It becomes essential to be in the right mindset.
And it's really a win-win-win, because it's your mindset, it's your physical health, and you're helping all the people that, you're running the benefits for. So super cool. I know that's a big part of giving back is important to you.
And it's so rewarding, because if you really can do those things from contribution, and we're running a business, so we all understand that facet of it, right? So there's no denying that. It's a very good business, a very lucrative business. However, that human element that's attached to it comes with such a reward that it's hard to describe until you're really in it.
Yeah. So tell me, what's on your bucket list?
Bucket list. Woo. Well, I love to travel. So I think I spent 2 years living in Australia, and I think at some point one of the things that I want to do is go back. We've been around, I think it's 54 countries now, traveling the world, and that excites me. I love different cultures and people, and all of that is just where my true passion lies. So for me, moving probably back to Australia and exploring more is definitely one of the things that was on my bucket list. Running the Boston Marathon, for sure. Okay. But you got to qualify, so.
You will. Anything you put your mind to, Daniela, you do.
Well, it'll be an adventure. But ultimately, within a more of a business structure, is to build out my luxury team to more of a boutique style team, so that we're servicing clients at a very high level. Once that is in place and truly self-sufficient, because we have models and tools and systems to get us to that area, if that's what we choose to do. Sure. Then I would say the next step for me would be probably going to MAPS coaching.
Oh, yeah. Exciting.
Yeah.
That's what about MAPS coaching is appealing to you?
Okay. So I do have a MAPS coach, and he's wonderful. I think just being able to help people at a different level, to be able to see something in others that they don't see in themselves, is so exciting for me, because sometimes when you have conversations, people don't always see their strength, their power, their ability. And so being able to kind of sit from the outside and help someone else help themselves is super rewarding to me. So I think ultimately, heading into that MAPS coaching background, I do have an NLP training, and I do have a life coaching certification that I have, which I did it for pleasure, because again, it comes from helping. Yeah. But being able to help on that level for a business, I think would be wonderful. And exciting.
We have that in common, the life coaching.
Yes, that's right. I remember you said you were doing that as well. Yeah.
Very, very cool. What's your biggest challenge, and do you have a strategy yet to overcome it?
Okay, so biggest challenge. So I would have to say is staying consistent, because one of the things, and if you're a current realtor, you do know one of the challenges is that you're wearing many hats, and you kind of plan out your day, your week, your month, you schedule everything out, and then at some point things just get derailed. And so being able to stay consistent to the long-term goal and not looking at it as a short-term vision, I would say is a struggle, but also an empowerment, because I now can define what it is I need to do.
Yeah.
But initially, not having the right mindset can discourage you. So staying consistent with the mindset, surrounding yourself with that culture, and having the education available to us to be able to keep tapping into for the resources. You know, because we have so many beautiful resources. It's really up to us whether we are wanting to use them or not.
Yeah, a lot of people think Keller Williams is great for new agents.
Yeah.
They don't a lot of times realize that there's so much there for intermediate level agents and for top level agents. And so,
and it really is as much as you want to grow. So at the end of the day, if you're just happy coming in and just being a single agent and that's really what fulfills you, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, I think it's important if you're the personality that likes to grow, you're open-minded and you want that mindset. For me, there's just no other place I would want to go for that reason, right? Because I feel like
you're learning based.
It's endless. I'm learning based, and I get bored very quickly.
Yeah.
What's next? What's next? So if I didn't have resources to tap into, I think I would become not as excited about what there is out there to grow from. But because we have, between our conferences and our trainings and our regional events, and our events that we hold here at our market center, there's just so much. In fact, sometimes there's so much, it's hard to schedule it and decide what's important. But then we think about the one thing, right? So we have that, I have that mental conversation. What's the one thing I need to do right now to propel my business forward? And so it's just a mind game all day. It is.
Yeah. And you're right, that book that Gary Keller wrote, One Thing, super helpful. What one thing can I do today? Such by doing it, everything else is either easier or unnecessary. Super helpful in every aspect of life, and an easy read too. So
it is.
I recommend it
not
to
too
anyone.
daunting.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a little weekend read, right?
Yeah, I highly recommend that to anyone. It just gives you clarity. It's stuff that we kind of know that we don't apply. And there's just tools, simplistic things and things to follow, and it just makes so much sense. Why wouldn't we do that? We get bogged down by making our list and all these things. Well, the truth is, what is the one thing? And once that one thing is done, what is the next one thing? What is the next one thing? Before you know it, you've climbed that mountain without really knowing that you started the journey.
Right.
So that's been helpful to me as well. Really tapping into using the resources we have at our hands.
Beautiful. So, what's the recipe for real estate's secret sauce?
I don't think there is a recipe. I think the really only thing I can say from my experience is having consistency. Not allowing small things to derail the train. Because over time, doing those small steps, consistent, you do see the end result. And sometimes it takes a year. So sometimes you have to be patient, But I think I've actually had people ask me before, well, you're doing really well. What's your secret sauce? And I said, there is no secret sauce. It's hard work. Hard work every day, all the time. Even when you don't want to, you show up, you do it anyway.
You make it look easy. That's why they think there's a secret sauce.
No secret sauce. I wish I had an easy button that I could share here, guys. Keller Williams makes it easy in the fact that we have resources. We have such a support system built in that it makes it easier. Because we can come into our market center, we can ask other agents who might be more experienced or who have experienced things like this before. Our nature and our culture is to help each other, as we spoke about, right? And so rather than being at home and trying to figure something out, you can always pick up the phone or send a message, or there's always a support. And so I think there is no easy button, but it can be made easier. You just have to be willing to ask and to be vulnerable. I think that's, in the beginning, you feel like you should know everything, and you feel maybe even like judged. I should know this. I should be able to. But once I was able to let go of that and realize it's okay, there's people here to help me, support me, and encourage me to grow, that's been my biggest aha, is that you don't need to sit and feel like then you don't have the answers, or it's just not for you, or overwhelmed. You know, it's going to be overwhelming. It should be. And if you're successful, you have to feel that pressure. Because of reward. When you start, this is my experience, when I started to feel the pressure and almost having a panic attack, what I could see is that on the horizon, the reward was there. And in different ways, right? So financial reward, of course, because we're in business. Sure. But also the self-satisfaction reward to know that, oh my goodness, you know, I went from this to this in this period of time. So if that was achievable, what else is out there that I could achieve if I just surrender to my own mental state of not, you know, being limiting in my own beliefs, I think is the best way to put that, right?
No limiting beliefs.
No limiting beliefs.
There
Again, that comes back to coaching. I actually
right.
I think I was sharing this with our team leader and actually with you a while back, but I had a moment where I was trying to break into luxury, and it's challenging. And so I came into someone's office, another agent, and I had my 5-minute rant about, this is just hard. You know, I don't think I'm going to be able to do this. And it was nonsense. But in my mind, I had decided that was my belief, you know, and this other person just listened and then shook their head and just said, is that a limiting belief, or is that true? And I wasn't impressed with that. You know, that was not the answer I wanted. I wanted for you, you know. But it was the best answer I could get at the time, because that propelled me to go, you know what? Fine. I'm just going to figure it out. And I'm still figuring it out as we go. But that was helpful in having that support.
Yeah, it was a moment, a profound moment for you that went, wait a second, I got to shake out of this.
Mm-hmm. I realized right then, having a background in NLP training and have some life coaching, I realized that how can I help other people when I'm sitting here in my own limited belief, but you can't see it when you're in it.
Sure, absolutely,
So, too close.
Yeah.
But it was great that somebody called me out,
Right.
even though I didn't like it.
Exactly, having that support system
Yes.
of other people that are high-minded and you know, mindset's important to them, and and that they really care.
Yes.
When you succeed, everyone succeeds, so they want to see you successful. And,
Yes. And truly, you know, I can say that from experience. You know, some people will say, great job, and it's just I guess a formality, you know, people say to each other sometimes. But I formed really strong relationships with agents here, and, you know, I would say like extended family. Mm-hmm. And so it means more when it comes from someone that you really trust and respect and admire. And it's a nice feeling because you feel like you have your family, but then I always say my Keller family, because it's true. You create bonds.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So speaking of environment, what environmental elements set you up for success, would you say?
I think having a very positive culture, having the mindset that no matter what the challenge is, we're going to be able to source the result or the answer. You know, it may not be an immediate thing, but it's there.
Yeah.
And there's been times I've asked a question or looked for a resource, and maybe we don't have the instant answer, but the answer will always come, right? And even with my maths coach, he'll say, oh my gosh, I haven't had that. Let me find out for you, you know, and he gets the answer and we work through it. I think having that mindset where people are really open to exploring different mindsets, opportunities, and not just saying, well, that's how we do it.
Right. Yeah.
That's how we do it
so
is dated and it's closed. Mm-hmm. I much prefer our mindset, which is more open and honest. And I think inquisitive. We're always looking to learn. We're always looking for the next way to promote our business and help others and do community events. So I think that would be my response.
Beautiful. Yeah. So I hear consistency. I hear mindset. I hear culture is important. I hear the tools and systems and models. And so before we finish our time together, is there anything else that you would like to share that we haven't covered today?
Well, I think if you're an agent out there right now struggling, and you're not sure why you're struggling, you kind of want to ask yourself, what is important to you? What are the things that you would like to see for your family? What the things you would like to see for your career? And then ask yourself, am I currently in a place being supported to be able to accomplish those things? And if not, what do I need to do to get myself to a place? And that might be just sending an email to Julie or to myself and just asking questions, just saying, we were wondering about this, and we're very open. We're always happy to help answer questions and provide support, right? And at the end of the day, I'm always happy to help a new agent. Only 3 years ago, I was a new agent, so I was very grateful to have other agents help me and to extend their hand. I remember, and I'll share this because I'm sure that other people are going through it, is I had this phobia about listings. I literally had created my own phobia, which I laugh at now. But so I was heavy on the buyer side, and I was very comfortable there. So I chose to stay there because it was my blanket. But I was discussing this with another agent here at our office, and she said, well, I don't understand. She goes, that's nonsense. Nonsense. And she said, I have a listing appointment tomorrow. You're coming with me. And I was like, oh, well, okay. At that point I thought, well, I have nothing to lose, so I'm not doing it anyway. And I went with her, and she went through her system and got the listing, and everything was great. And I thought, that's just not that hard. Why did I make it into something it wasn't? But what I am grateful for is that she, again, didn't let me sit in that space of, oh my goodness, this is fearful, it's scary, they're going to judge me, they're going to reject me, blah, blah, blah. All the stuff we say, because truthfully, they aren't saying that, we are to ourselves. Right. This is why I'm saying it's so important to have our right mindset all the time. And then after that, literally like the next week, I just started being more focused on getting listings and not being afraid of the result, just doing the process and remembering that the end goal was really our client, and believing that we were going to service them at the best level. And so I am still grateful to her today. I tell her all the time at team meetings, I bring her up, I thank her, and genuinely from the bottom of my heart, I might have still been in that little angst about things. So if you're an agent out there going through anything similar, and you need support and you need resources, or you have questions, don't sit there and be fearful, because that's not going to help you grow. So just be vulnerable. What is the saying that we say? Get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
That's right.
I have gotten used to that. Oh,
and it serves you well.
Oh, thank you.
And now in our meetings, almost every meeting, one of our newer agents thanks you. So it's really that agent, you just paid it forward, right? So you're
I'm grateful.
Doing it
I'm grateful that they trusted me to ask for help or support or guidance. And I remember how vulnerable that is. And even now, we have agents that are 20 years experienced agents. And so I will go to them and say, okay, this is what's going on, help, And so I think it's important to use our resources. We're here to help each other, to grow and support each other. So yeah, don't struggle, reach out, get help. Yeah. We're a very friendly bunch.
Absolutely. Well, Daniela, this has been a wonderful time. I've enjoyed every moment of it. Thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy schedule.
My pleasure.
And I will look forward to another time.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Julie. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.